I remember an incident fairly early on in my career where I was working with a guy called Colin. Colin was a systems analyst in the IT department of the local government where I worked at the time. And I was in another department. I was one of his users. It was cringe a bit now with that IT jargon of calling people users as if we're drug addicts, but there we go. Colin was a systems analyst. Now, he was very technically able. There was not much he didn't know about the platform and the systems on which we were working. But I was trying to initiate change. I was trying to improve some of the systems in town planning, modelling tools for bypasses, information tools for schools and so on. And I have to say, Colin was not very helpful. His overall attitude was one of a skeptic. And after a while, I felt like I was a problem to him. Things escalated, not aggressively so, but they did escalate until one day I finally met the director of the IT department, a guy called Mike. Now, Mike was totally different. Mike treated me like a human being. He didn't treat me like a problem. He treated me like a customer, somebody who he was serving. Now, Mike was several grades higher than me in this organisation. He didn't have to do this. Very quickly, he and I developed a rapport, a mutual respect, and we began to work on problems together and opportunities together. I always enjoyed meeting Mike, and after a while I began to share my experiences with him because I trusted Mike enough to know that he wouldn't take any disciplinary action against Colin, and shared my concerns about how difficult I'd found working with Colin. And then Mike said something that stuck with me down through the years, and it was this. He said, yes, Colin's a bit of a Basil Fawlty. Life would be all right if it weren't for the user. And then I realized that quite often in organizations where you serve people, typically IT organizations, but they could be anything, you can ultimately begin to regard your job as running smoothly if it weren't for that awkward person called the customer. And also, I began to see that a lot of projects began to get into trouble because essentially they weren't about a technical challenge. Fundamentally, they were about influencing and leading people through a change. Sometimes a change that would affect the way they worked. And it was often here that projects got into trouble.